So I can't believe it, but we're finally at the end of the 2025 IndyCar season with the season finale at Nashville. A great oval race this past weekend that provided lots of excitement, lots of side-by-side racing, and just overall was a good cap to the end of the season for a season that's been really up and down, historic, had some great moments. Overall, honestly, just a great end to the season and a great race to go over. So your pole winner for this race was Pato O'Ward, which I believe is his first pole on an oval, which is absolutely insane because he's really good on ovals, so that's really surprising, but great to see for Pato O'Ward. David Malukas, though, comes up second in qualifying after nearly getting another pole just like last week, but just losing it towards the end to another driver, so he's getting up there, man, so he'll get that first pole eventually, but a really good qualifying effort. And just for McLaren overall, for qualifying before the race, looking really good. I mean, Pato O'Ward got the pole position. Christian Lundgaard got third. Before the engine penalty, Nolan Siegel was seventh. So for McLaren overall, a really strong qualifying, and same thing for Chip Ganassi. I mean, Alex Blow was starting in fourth, Dixon in fifth, and Kiffin Simpson in 10th. I mean, they were looking strong as well on the day. And Team Penske had a decent rebound after kind of the troubles from earlier this season, so it was kind of leading up to be a pretty good race. Which, starting off, just like some of the past races we've seen, an early caution on lap 1 as Christian Rasmussen, after getting the win last week, unfortunately comes up really unlucky this week, just loses it by himself in the middle of a pack towards the back and just spins out slamming the wall. So sucks to see for Rasmussen, who provides a lot of entertainment on these ovals, but just unfortunately was out really early. But after that, though, we had a pretty good start where Pato O'Ward and Alex Palou were pretty much battling for a while. Neither guy wanted to give up position. It was great to see some really good side-by-side racing. It was really close. Palou was trying so hard to get Pato on some of these corners and just coming up short, but we had some really good side-by-side racing, which I love that in IndyCar for ovals. We saw it last week at Milwaukee, and then we saw it for Nashville, so that was great to see. Connor Daly was making moves early in this race, started in the back, I believe, and like 24th, 25th. He was the biggest mover in this race, which is great to see for Connor. Really good on the ovals and really good at using that high lane that a lot of drivers won't really use, and we saw that a little bit in this race and some guys taking those risks, which was good to see. And pretty much just a chaotic race after that. The thing that I feel like made this race exciting was the unpredictable factor. It didn't matter where anyone was in this race. It felt really unpredictable as we had the alternate tires kind of being unpredictable themselves if they were going to last in practice and qualifying. Those things were shredding a bit, so it was going to be interesting to see how long those lasted in the stint, and some drivers are making it useful to their advantage. I mean, Will Power early on the alternates was making moves, looked like he could potentially be a race winner until a pit incident later in this race. So first of all, Alex Palou had a tire failure. This was from contact, so had a little bit of contact earlier in the race, and then eventually had a tire failure. So I'm like, oh shit, Alex Palou finally had something go wrong for him. We might not potentially see him contending for a win, but somehow got his way back up there. And then right after that, a little bit later, Louis Foster, on a move that I will say was a pretty dirty move, kind of goes wide a little bit, blocking David Malukas, and then eventually they make contact and he spins David out and hits the wall. Not great to see for Louis Foster, who also is the Rookie of the Year this year. Not a great move, so that's pretty much it with that. So yeah, when you're a lap down, you don't need to be fighting that hard to block, I feel like, but whatever. And then Pato O'Ward later, he was leading for a ton of laps, like the most he's ever led in his career in a single race, I believe. I think it was like 100-something laps. Has a right front failure. He looked like he was easily possibly going to contend for a win today, and then has that right front failure, hits the wall. Christian Lundgaard had a mechanical failure later in this race, so he fell out as well. So just a disaster for McLaren after a really good qualifying effort. So that was really confusing to see for the team after qualifying so well. And then the chaos just seemed like it just continued and continued. I mean, Will Power, who was looking really strong in possibly his final race for Team Penske, just overshoots his pit stall a little bit and then stalls on pit lane, and they couldn't get him out for quite a bit. He was already a lap or two down at that point. So a disaster for Will Power, who was looking really good. And Team Penske in the day was looking great overall. I mean, I'd argue if Will Power stays in that race, not only does he possibly contend for a win, I think Penske possibly sweeps the podium. I mean, that's how good Will was looking before the pit stall error. And just a disaster at Nashville once again after the seatbelt issue last year. Stalls in the pits, so just Really unlucky for Will in Nashville these last couple of years. And then we got closer and closer to the finish, and just when you thought he was out, I mean, get screwed. Alex Palou was getting towards the front no matter what. It doesn't matter what you really throw at this guy. I feel like he's always going to find a way to get up there. He's just so good. It's insane. So contending for once again another win, even after a tire issue early in the race. But the Penske cars were going to be up there. Scott McLaughlin was looking like he could possibly have a win, his first of the season, but unfortunately gets too high in the marbles and just hits the wall. And perfect opportunity for Joseph, who was just having a really good race and just waiting for the perfect opportunity, is able to catch Scott McLaughlin, gets the race lead. And then as we got to the final restart, I was kind of curious if he was going to be able to hold off Alex Palou. And then I was also looking at Connor Daly back there, who I believe was in 4th or 5th, because he was using that high lane all day. So I thought he was going to try and make a move at the end, but unfortunately just fell back just a little bit in 5th. And then we had a dash to the finish as Joseph Newgarden was trying to hold off Alex Palou, get his first win of the season after a disastrous season for Joseph Newgarden, possibly contending for a win at Gateway, taken away, possibly could contend for a 3P at Indy, but unfortunately had that mechanical issue late in the race for him, and then possibly contending for a win at Iowa. Didn't happen. So there were so many opportunities for Joseph Newgarden. Had some good finishes this season, but unfortunately things just didn't go his way. And today was a big redemption for him. So able to hold off Alex Palou for the race win. Still though, for Alex Palou, gets second. So his race finishes this season have been insane. And what I really enjoyed as we were getting to the finish was the fight for the final podium position between Scott McLaughlin and Kyffin Simpson. Some really good side-by-side racing, nothing dirty. It was all professional. It was really close getting to the finish. Kyffin looked like he could possibly get a podium on an oval, which would have been great for him. But Scotty was able to get him at the line. That was great to see. A really good battle at the end. Some really good side-by-side racing, which I love to see in IndyCar on these ovals. It was really close getting to the finish, so that was really great to see. Overall, honestly, I just enjoyed the race. And it was great to see for Joseph, too, being able to win in his hometown, especially with the celebration at the end in the crowd with his race crew. That was really cool. I kind of love that tradition with him, jumping into the race crowd and celebrating with the fans a bit. That was awesome. And just overall, it just felt like a really good, feel-good finish to the IndyCar season, a season that had been really chaotic. We finally had some really good racing towards the end of the season, and honestly, it just felt good, man. I love ending the season on an oval. I think we should keep doing it. Do I kind of miss the streets of Nashville? Yes, but this oval is providing really good racing, and I feel like it'll continue to for years to come. And for the race results, starting from the back of the field, 27th, Christian Rasmussen after that spin early, 26th, David Malukas after the crash, 25th, Christian Lundgaard after having that mechanical failure, 24th, Pato O'Ward, 23rd, Jacob Abel, 22nd, Graham Rahal, who just really struggled on the day, honestly. Will Power in 21st, Louis Foster in 20th, Marcus Armstrong in 19th, was running in the top 10 for quite a while, but just unfortunately because of some issue late in the race, I can't exactly remember, I apologize, fell back into 19th, Devlin DiFrancesco in 18th, Nolan Siegel in 17th, Stingray Robb in 16th, Marcus Ericsson in 15th, Robert Schwartzman in 14th after having a blocking penalty late in the race. Rinus VeeKay in 13th. Decent finish for VeeKay for a Dale Coyne car on an oval, honestly. Scott Dixon in 12th. Colton Herta in 11th. Alexander Rossi in 10th. Good day for Alexander Rossi. Another great weekend for him, a top 10. Callum Ilott as well in 9th. A great finish for Callum Ilott towards the end of the season. Dude was really picking it up towards the end. Santino Ferrucci kind of had a quiet day in 8th. Felix Rosenquist in 7th. Great to see a top 10 for him. Kyle Kirkwood in 6th. Another kind of quiet day for him, but a good top 10. Connor Daly in 5th. Biggest mover in this race. Started in the back of the field, able to work his way up to 5th. He's just really good on ovals, man. Something about it. He's just fearless when it comes to that high side lane. Kyffin Simpson in 4th. His best finish on an oval. Great to see for Kyffin. Some really good racing at the end. Contended well. Couldn't quite get the podium, but hey, man. Your best finish on an oval, that's great to see the cap off this season. Scott McLaughlin in 3rd, another podium 2 weeks in a row. Couldn't get the win, but hey, podium's really great. Alex Palou in 2nd, what more can you really say at this point? And Joseph Newgarden, your race winner in 1st. overall, just some of my final thoughts on the race. I thought it was a really entertaining day and a really entertaining race. What makes an oval race and just a race in IndyCar so good is that unpredictable factor. The side-by-side racing that you see where guys are really pushing it to their limits, taking that high line if they have to, making some crazy overtakes and some really close moves. There were so many times when I thought guys were going to smack the wall, and they came so close to doing so and didn't. I thought we were going to see a lot more cautions in this race than we did, honestly. And just overall, it was just, like I said, just really entertaining, honestly. I love ending the season on an oval. I want to keep coming back to Nashville. I think the crowd's going to continue to grow. Hopefully it can kind of become more of a bigger event. I liked what we did with the pre-race stuff. It felt kind of like a big event. If we could do that more so with every race, trying more and more to create every race on the IndyCar schedule as a big event, a thing that you need to come to as a fan, I feel like that would really benefit IndyCar for the future. Good to see Penske rebound, honestly, after a really disastrous season, picking up 2 wins late in the season, and Joseph Newgarden able to rebound after a crazy season. On the flip side of that, McLaren falling apart after really good qualifying. So that was really crazy to see and interesting. Chip Ganassi, I mean, pretty much the standard in IndyCar at this point. They just get it done week in and week out, honestly. So overall, honestly, just a great race, a great weekend. It's sad to see IndyCar over at this point. I can't believe it, honestly. I feel like the season almost just got started, and now here we are at the end of the season. We still have the same champion, but we had some different race winners than I thought we would after the start of the season. We had some really good race finishes and some really good races overall towards the end of the season. The second half of the schedule was significantly better than the first half of the schedule. After Indy, things just ramped up, honestly, and got better and better. And obviously, that's with the mix of the ovals with the road and street courses. But I feel like overall, from an entertainment standpoint and just my thoughts from the driver standpoint, I feel like there was more of a handling on the car with the extra weight with the hybrid. I mean, we're not really hearing about the hybrid much at this point, but I feel like it's being utilized better than it was earlier in the season. We're seeing more risks being taken than we did early in the season. Not as much as fuel saving and saving tires. I mean, guys are making moves. People were being aggressive towards the end, trying to pick up race wins after Alex Palou was just dominating the field. So eventually it was going to pick up, and I'm glad to see that it did towards the end of the season. And speaking of Alex Palou, I mean, like we were saying earlier, not even a tire failure could stop him. Still gets second. I'd be really curious to see what his final results are going to be in terms of his average throughout the whole entire season. Dude is just killing it with podium finish after podium finish, race win. Even if it's not a race win, it's going to be like second or third. It's absolutely insane. He is so good and going to be dominant for years to come. So I'm going to be really interested to see who kind of brings that fight to Alex Palou next year, whether that's a Pato O'Ward, Christian Lundgaard, maybe someone new that we haven't really talked about a lot this season. So it's going to be really interesting heading into 2026 what we're going to see, and if we could possibly have a new champion even. So I don't know, but who's going to stop the dominance of Alex Palou? I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see about that. Some shout-outs for drivers that I really saw in this race that I enjoyed. Obviously, Joseph Newgarden getting a race win after the disastrous season. Great to see for him. Kiffin Simpson having his best finish on an oval, and just an overall great day for him. Really improved this year compared to last year, so Kiff Dog is getting it done, man. Connor Daly at 5th, biggest mover in this race, was making moves happen all day. Couldn't quite get a podium, but had a really good finish, a top 10. Callum Ilott in 9th. I mean, dude ramped it up towards the end of the season. I don't know what's going to happen with Prema after this point for next year, but Callum definitely deserves a spot on the grid if kind of Prema folds. Some of the rumors I've been hearing, I don't know, but Callum Ilott has just been making moves happen at the end of the season, had some good finishes. And Alexander Rossi, back-to-back weeks with a really good finish, got 5th last week at Milwaukee, got a top 10 this week. So a good end of the season for Alexander Rossi and that ECR team overall. Honestly, back-to-back weeks, having some good performances individually from their drivers. Obviously not Rasmussen today, but for Rossi today, it was a pretty good finish for him. And just overall, honestly, it's sad to see the IndyCar season end. I was really enjoying it throughout the whole entire season. Very entertaining, honestly, even with the dominance of Alex Palou. For the fans that are upset, it's like others have said. It's something we're going to look back on in a long time and be like, wow, I got to see the historical dominance of Alex Palou. And, there's not even a guarantee that we're going to see something like this again in IndyCar. A lot of luck had to come his way to be able to get those 8 race wins and to be able to finish off that 4th championship early. So it's not a guarantee that that's going to continue for the future. I think he's still going to contend for a lot of wins and more championships. I definitely think by the end of his career that Alex Palou will have the most IndyCar championships in history and possibly might even be the greatest of all time. I know that's kind of a bold prediction, but the man is still so young and running so well. So Chip Ganassi said it earlier in the season, we haven't even seen the kind of peak of Alex Palou at this point. So it's going to be really interesting to see where Palou goes from here, and just the entire field. A lot of movers towards the end of the season, a lot of rumors about where people are going to go. Obviously, the biggest one that everyone's talking about is where is Will Power going to go? Is Dave Malukas going to take that spot at Team Penske? Are we going to see Colton Herta move to Formula 2, which is a crazy rumor, but apparently today I'm recording this on Tuesday the 2nd. Possibly going to see Colton move away from Andretti for a couple of years, or entirely, I don't know. And then where does Rinus VeeKay go? A guy who has made a Dale Coyne car look pretty damn good this season, definitely deserves a better ride. So there's going to be a lot of moving parts, I feel like, after this season. So we possibly may see some new faces on the grid and some people gone for next year. So gonna have to wait and see for that. So really appreciative of the 2025 season and what we had for IndyCar. I'm really sad to see it end. But you know what? We have a really good season to look forward to next year. Things are going to get bigger and better for IndyCar. I feel like it's just starting to really grow at this point, and it's going to continue to grow after this point. So yeah, I'd love to hear any thoughts down below just about the race itself or just the season overall. I'm going to be hopefully making more videos in the future just for like past races and stuff. I'd love to do some historical content because I love the history of IndyCar itself, and just how it's grown over the years and years that's been around. But overall for 2025, unfortunately, that is it. And we'll have to look forward to 2026 in St. Pete. So I hope you all have a great rest of your day and take it easy. I'll see you all next year.